So, Sarah, this is Mahesh Kumawat again, and
Yeah.
basically, we have studied till now all the project management sort of things today, and today I'm just going to start with the project scope. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we have already done the what number of what knowledge bases and also what are the features is all about, and a number of things we have studied. So we will go further for this for knowledge bases and project scope and each and everything again,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
the project scope basically is doing the right stuff. So the knowledge areas which we have already started talking about earlier: initiating group, process group, planning process groups, and executing process group, and monitoring and controlling process groups, and closing process groups. So these are some knowledge areas which we have talked earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
it's one of them is project scope management is there. So the plan scope management and collect requirements and define scope and create and WBS is this work breakdown structure is all about. Okay, so we are
Uh-huh.
just talking about project scope in the second phase of the project management group, because in the initiating of the project, basically what we have did we have what project charters we're going to create it, and
Mm-hmm.
the second thing would be we have to find some investors same time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in the second phase of planning process group, so we have some different things available. So the project plan, scope management. So what type of scope is it is? Okay, suppose you're just going to invest in new. Suppose any investor is going to invest the money, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
first of all, they are just finding out the scope of the market, right? What sort of business we need to set up first of all.
Mm-hmm.
If the scope is available or not, a scope is available. Okay, so we have to go for across the boundaries, sort of see, we can say that like some of the scope is available in different countries, like we can say we need to sell our products to some different markets like India or Chinese markets, so that we can sell. Okay, suppose Apple is going
Mm-hmm.
to sell their handset devices, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they can sell across all over the globe. Okay, so first
Yeah.
of all, the strategists need to understand the scope of the work, where we need to doing the things, and what we can want to do it same time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in the 5.1, if the plan scope management, the process of the creating a scope management plan that documents how the project scope will be defined, validated, and controlled. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this is the things which we which is done by basically the top management, basically the higher management, the
Mm-hmm.
board of directors are not just finding out the scope, but you are the part of the particular the team as well at the same time, because how do things are execution, the things is going on there, which things are feasible, which things are not feasible. That sort of decision has to be taken by the project manager same time. So this is
Mm-hmm.
decision making sort of things you need to be done at the same time. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is the things which we are just talking about for the new project, right? And if you're part of the existing project, right? So your responsibilities is more than that, basically. So we already in the process of what, and we had to find out some new markets for selling the products. Okay, so who's is going to control the things, and who's is going to validate the things, and who's going to define the things. So that sort of things we're just talking about in the scope areas. And the second point would be collect requirements. Okay, so what, we required some information same time. So the process of determining, documenting, and managing stakeholders' needs and requirements to meet project objectives. So we required
Mm-hmm.
some documentations part as well, same time, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
legal requirement as well, some what environmental conditions, regulatory document as well, some of the patents and copyrights and different things we need to be collect informations about your product, basically, right?
Uh-huh.
The most of the countries, we can say that in Asian and African countries, right? There are some of the issues that happen just because of they have the open policies for the government side. Okay, but in US locations, there's no federal controlled, basically. So it's a matter of
Uh-huh.
fact that what type of what regulations controlling and the documents we are just going to create for the same sort of collection requirement of documents.
Mm-hmm.
And then the defined scope, the process of developing a detailed description of the project and product. So first of all, suppose you're just finding out a person who's just going to invest in your project, right? So as you're just coming to any person, right, and as the stakeholders, and they have simple things they will ask to you: what's your project, and what's your description of your project? what your company is doing is all about. And is there a scope is
Uh-huh.
available, and if there is scope is not available, then that there is a one thing that's always be there. Okay, so any person is going to invest the money just because of they have the scope, and if they have the benefit same time, then no one gonna invest you without any further what benefit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then on the page work, WBS is WBS terms is basically used for what work breakdown and structure, the process of subdividing project deliverables and project work into smaller and manageable components. So we can say that suppose you have got a new project, right? And there are a number of activities inside this project. So how would you, uh, reduce your different activities or tasks in subtasks basically, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you divided your task in the subtasks, then you have easy to manage. You can easily provide resources on the particular activities. Okay, and how
Mm-hmm.
do you control we have some different sort of tools available for the same sort of things like Jira and Confluence and MS Visio or MS Projects, okay, SharePoint, and there are a number of things available to controlling and managing your project same time.
Mm-hmm.
And validate scope, the scope process of formalizing the acceptance of the completed project deliverables. And control scope is basically a process of monitoring the status of the project and product scope and managing changes in the scope of the license. So how do you, controlling the things is once it is going on. So this is also the part of particular the project management. How do you controlling the things at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we have to move to the further things like stuff when defining project scope. Okay, so we have already suggest you that we require some collect requirements. So suppose you are going for it to take a new uh, client meeting, right? And the client meetings, what you need to do first of all, you have to write down the information, collecting the
Mm-hmm.
information uh, as many as possible. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then you just gonna what you can do, you have just filter the informations, whichever which is useful for your project. You can take it without the scope of your project. You can remove the information which doesn't require in your project, right? So
Mm-hmm.
collect requirements is all about basically. In this
Mm-hmm.
process you find out all the stakeholders needs and write them down so that you know what to build and your requirements can be measured and tracked. Okay, so you are
Mm-hmm.
just going to stakeholders meeting, then different customers and sitting with you. So you have to just find out what their vision is about the company. Okay, what's the mission? We need to work
Mm-hmm.
on it. And as per the company vision and missions, you need to perform your work. Okay, so first of all, you plan, do, check, act. These are the some sort of things you can just gonna do in your processes. Okay, and then the project scope management. So the here is you can write down a detailed description of work you will do and write what you will produce. Okay, so project scope management statement, you need to create
Mm-hmm.
what's the project and what you're going to do it, and how you do going to do it. Okay, and this is just detailed information about your project, basically what you're going to do it. Okay,
Uh-huh.
when you do this right, the stakeholders are never unpredictable because you already understand their needs. So first of all, you need to go to the meeting, and there are a number of stakeholders are there, and then after that you collect the requirements, and then you can as per the stakeholders needs. Okay, and what they're thinking, what the vision of the company, what the mission of the company, as per this particular
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, you just define the scope. Okay, so later on, once you're in the project or working on a project, right? There is no conflicting with you as a project manager and the stakeholders. Okay, so stakeholders management is
Uh-huh.
also the part of particular project management same time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so create WBS. So breakdown structures we already studied there. The work breakdown structure or WBS organize all your teams works and into work packages or discrete pieces of the work and team members do. So you can keep your momentum to project going on to start. Okay. So first of all, what if you have the work
Mm-hmm.
more than that, right? So what you need to do here, first of all, you have to break the project into smaller pieces. Okay, smaller tasks, and then you just align your resources on the different activities, and then you can control and managing at the same time. Yes, we can
Mhm.
say that there are several tools for sort of things. So once you are in the practical sort of classes, you just find out that we have to work on the MS project and Zoho, and there are some different tools, so that you can, how do you control all the resources, costing, scope, risk, each and everything on the same console. We can say that same portal. Just find out all the informations.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the change request. So change control scope is basically, we already know that how important it is control changes on your project. When
Mhm.
scope changes aren't controlled, it leads to the most frustrating sort of project problems. Luckily, you all already know about the change control and how you can use it,
Mhm.
manage or your process scope. So remember the
Mhm.
integrated changes and the control from the last chapter. Now you will see in the action. So control scope basically,
So
how do you
which chapter is like, is there any kind of like material or book I need to follow? Because I did not get any anything, any material like, or any book ref link or anything like that.
Yes, yes, definitely. We have several books basically. What PM book basically is you need to be work on it, and there's a six editions currently, or the project management is working. So I was just going to provide to you what the book is all about. But
Mm-hmm.
here it is need to understand only the logic, what is it all about, and then the descriptive
Okay.
sort of things you'll find in the books.
And you will be providing me that link to that book, or how that is going to be?
No, if you just is going to my Google videos, right? Google Drive, right? So
Uh-huh.
you just find out their number of books is there. Already, I have
Oh, okay.
uploaded all the books is there.
Okay, so in that drive. Okay.
Okay, so you will find out each and everything on my Google Drive, and number of things, short studies, long studies, everything. Just find out, just going for it once.
Okay, but like, how I can save them, like, on my device. So if even if I'm like not logged into like internet, I can still have it.
Yes, yes, yes. Just because of I'm not providing any, downloading options into the Google Drive, it is just readable format. So
Okay.
as per you my student, so I can provide to you, no problem with this.
Okay. Yeah, like I understand, like, because right now it's readable, but I am like, I would like to like, have this thing kind of like save in my computer, because like, of course I'm like now taking this class as a like official student. So I think I should be able to have the material.
Yes,
Are
definitely. I
you?
will just going to provide to you. This is the public domain, dear. Google Drive is basically used by all students.
Yes.
Just take it out, and then
Yeah.
the number
It's
of
just
things
like
they
for
can
me, it's
provide.
like if I'm like, I like to like study like on my own schedule. So if I have that thing like kind of like saved on my computer, I can just like, even if I am not logged into like a computer, I can still kind of like go there and read
Yeah,
them.
no
Like with,
problem. Yes, yes. Definitely, you will get it
oh,
each and everything. I will just going to provide to you one by
okay.
one.
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
Okay. So once the change request is there, and then you have to verify the scope basically. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
define a scope basically? So once the work is complete, you need to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that what you are delivering matches what you wrote
Mm-hmm.
down into the scope statement, and that's the your team never delivers the wrong product to the customers. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, when we are going to deliver your product, or your whatever the things, the
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing and car sort of things to customers, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
need to verify our scope, whether the things is working as per expectations, whether we have, providing the company's vision statement same time, we are achieving
Mm-hmm.
the things, and whether it is value for the money same time. So that sort of things we can verify the scope is all about. Okay, when project scope is poorly defined. Okay, sometimes, most of the projects, I already suggest you that the number of projects are failed just because of we didn't, uh, do carefully the scope defined to the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Suppose your stakeholders have some different vision statement, and they are thinking some different ideas, and you are project managers, you are the project, and thinking something different from them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the, what conflict of, what interest same time. Due to
Mm-hmm.
this, the project is delayed, and the number of what resources are was wasted at the same time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when the project scope is poorly defined, so then what happened exactly? What happened? So this is the scenarios, right? Because you have to know that
Mm-hmm.
before you going for successful project manager, first of all you need to understand what is the failure in the project,
Mm-hmm.
right? The team had trouble getting the project off the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on the team was good to their individual jobs, but it seems like nobody knew how to get the
Mm-hmm.
project started, right? Suppose
Mm-hmm.
you hired a number of resources in your team, subject matter expert for for PHP, Java, or whatever the profile is all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Individually, they are performing really well, but they don't know how to start. Okay, so as a project
Mm-hmm.
managers, you need to go for initiating a project, and in the first of initiating a project, what you're going to do it? How do you plan your project? Okay, how do you leading from the
Mm-hmm.
front? So that sort of things is in front of you. The challenge is all about, or as a project manager, it's all the time. How to going to start a things, and what you're going to do at same time, and the responsibilities all for you to how to handle
Uh-huh.
the things at the same time, right? So that they did sit around the meetings, talking about the what they are wanted to build, but it seemed like weeks before anything started getting done. Okay, so what you
Mm-hmm.
the solve the if you're going for the solution of this particular questions is first of all you need to uh, uh, go to the conference room, and then we have to they have meeting with your resources. Okay, you will have to take the ideas what they exactly thinking about the project, and
Mm-hmm.
what are the key challenges in your project. Okay, and how do you provide solutions to the project. Okay, so suppose the risk assessment, or you can say that first of all you have to go for some information stacking from them, and then just find out what are risk is in the project basically. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
what resolve the risk? So the planning phase, we have to identify all sort of assessment of risk, we can say that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second point would be that there were a lot of false starts just when
Mm-hmm.
they are getting the project underway. It seems like something would shift, and they would big square one. Sometimes you started the project, and sometimes in the middle of the project, you seems that we need to go back, roll back the changes due to this happened. Okay, so most of the times we can say that if you just experience project managers, what was the exposure from behind the project. Suppose you're working in the IT project, and but some of those changes will creating a problem in your Wi-Fi devices or in your networking
Mm-hmm.
devices, right? So you think that
Yeah.
why I'm going to change it? I have to go for back, roll back the changes, and then it's going to work absolutely fine so far. So sometimes the situations come around you. So how do you deal with this? That's the beauty about it. What how do you scope what of your project? Okay, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you're not aware about the situation, and this crisis happened, and the circumstances are very different same time.
Mm-hmm.
The third point is would be the sponsor and the stakeholders were unpredictable. There were the different times, and any other Brian through they were done, and each time the stakeholders found a problem that sent them back to the drawing board. So what happened in what common life, Jara, what the stakeholders, okay, sometimes they think that this is the right option, so we cannot do it. Okay, same point of time, and after the 6 months, after the 2 or 3 months, they will changes their mind same time. So
Mm-hmm.
if they are going to change their mind, or everything is what working as per the expectations with them, and then you just plan the things, and then it's not possible to change the things on the project at same point of time, because it will take some time to change the things happen. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you can't be unpredictable of the stakeholders' mind all the time, how they're thinking, what they're thinking, because they are not so much if a technical person, they are not so much qualified. Or what's going on with the project, we don't know actually. So you are the key persons who can just responsible everything, and you can just communicate with the top management. These are the things happen. These things happen, and this is the things we need to go for it for the further things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are multiple things happening to this project. So the worst part about this was that there was no way to know when they were done with the project without asking the sponsor's opinion, and it seemed like that opinion was always changing. Okay, so they will
Mm-hmm.
changing the opinion all the time. So you are just getting ready for this challenge, because you are a project managers. You're responsible every each and every time, and then change it should be done as per the expectations all the time, and then whatever that happen, then just ready for it. The same sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth point was be there were a whole of lot of changes. They were always scrambling to keep up the shifting projects and ideas, and they are never know that sure about what they are working on each week. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if you just make a changes each and every time as the customer needs expectations, and you know what, it's very painful in the project, right, all the time, because the customers is, you know what, providing information to some different, and after 2 days they have some different opinion about the same thing. And
Uh-huh.
then you need to, you know what, change your strategies as per them, and then you know what, doing the thing as per the expectations. So this is, you know what, modern time the agility is there. So these things happen, so that's why the agile comes to the market. The scrum is also comes to the market, just because of we need to change as the customer expectations all the time, so be prepared for it all the time. Okay, so these is things we
Mm-hmm.
need to be, you know what, providing in the scope areas. Okay, these are the some, you know what, of the, you know what, issues or problems comes to in the project scope. Okay, so but
Mm-hmm.
before you're going to create a scope, so these are the 4 or 5 terms you need to be take care in your mind, that is there any things happen, the stakeholders issues, the changes happen all the time, and there was a lot how to start of the project. So these is things you need to be in your mind before you're going
Mm-hmm.
for any project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we have some different things. The project scope is over right now, so we are going for project schedule. This is
Mm-hmm.
another you know what, process of the project management, we can say that. So getting it
Mm-hmm.
done on time. So the thing is very important for any project is what is the start date, and what is the end date, and the things
Mm-hmm.
are going as per this time or not. So how can we control, how can we monitor, how we align the resources to do the things on time. So this is the very important, you know what, one of the process of the project management, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are things is in this basically. So plan schedule management, right? So first of all, you
Mm-hmm.
have, you know what, suppose you are project managers and you're handling 10 to 20 to 100 number of resources, they're reporting to
Mm-hmm.
you. So first of all, you need to plan a schedule management. Okay, for different teams have different resources, different activities, and different plans. You can just go for it, and then first things you need to do it. Okay, different teams allocations, different team leads, you can allocate them. Okay, different
Mm-hmm.
persons are reporting to them, and the team leads will reporting to you same time. So the functional charts you can gonna create for your
Mm-hmm.
resources sort of things, right? Then the second point would be define activities. Then the second things, if you have defined the skill management, the second things what they're doing it actually. Okay, so you have
Mm-hmm.
different resources available, so define the activities what they're going to perform. And then third one would be sequence activities. So same times you need to sequence. First thing is activities happen, raw materials coming out, right? Your resource is gonna, you know what, use the raw materials, and then they will send to the input one. Okay, and then the
Mm-hmm.
input second, input third, input fourth, and then this is the, you know, sequence. Sequentially you can just write down all sort of things. So we can say that the different domains and different, you know what, business have different activities going on, different resources, some subject matter expert required. Okay, manufacturing have
Mm-hmm.
different sort of activities happen, healthcare and the production have different activities happen. So as a project manager, you would be more sure that how the things are working actually, how, who's going
Mm-hmm.
to do it, who the person is, you know what, doing the right things at the right time. Okay, so you need to
Mm-hmm.
define all the things as a sequential way. So we can say step one, step two, step three sort of things. So this is sequence is there in the project
Mm-hmm.
management. The fourth one, you can say that the estimate activity resources. Okay, so you can, you know what, estimate the activity, how much time it will gonna to do this activity basically, right? Suppose
Mhm.
the required 50 number of units of computers or laptops, right? So how if the source is going to install the operating systems into the on the laptop side, right? So how much time it will take to install all the operating systems to the 50 systems? Okay, you can
Uh-huh.
calculate the things. Yes, this the approximate calculations you can want to do at same time. This is the one of the examples, right? So different things is available. Okay, once you're in the manufacturing or automobile companies, okay, how much time
Mhm.
take to mm, complete a process of the car's creation? Okay, so
Mhm.
that sort of things what calculate the timing on the estimated, and then you can define the resources, align sources, and then you can calculate the number of tasks as per their timing on the bugs. Okay, so the Jira and the Confluence another tool is there. So every hour is count same time,
Mhm.
and estimate activity durations. Same thing is there. Okay, so number of hours. Okay,
Mhm.
different what countries have different hours of work. So we can say that 24 into 7 shift or 8 hour shift or 9 hour shifts, and how much for
Mhm.
1 hour, what units provided resources, and what type of work is there, what is scope of work is there, who the resource is more capable to doing the things on the time. Okay,
Mhm.
so as per the resources you can just define the key performance indicators, right? So you can do it, and key responsibility areas you can just define to the resources. So that sort of
Mhm.
things you can do on the schedule of project. Okay, and the develop schedule. So you have different ideas available. Okay,
Mhm.
how to do the things on time. Okay, so you will go for some innovative ideas, like how can I things will be automated way. Okay, so if you're just talking about some in a technical way, we need to create some scripts into the Linux
Mhm.
or Ubuntu sort of okay operating system. So in the Ubuntu or Linux platforms, we are in the we have some resources, and we can gonna create a script, and the script's gonna work. And it's very easier for any what technical persons to get the things on time. Okay,
Mhm.
and manually versus automated way of working. So just as a project managers, you always be go for some innovative ideas in front of your teams, so that
Mhm.
their task will be easier to do. Okay, and another thing is basically how do you control the schedule? This is another part of the story. So we have different tools and techniques available to controlling the schedule. So suppose if you are working on a MS project part, so MS project, we have defined resources names, we have defined number of
Mhm.
working hours, we have defined what is the cost of the per hour basis. Okay, so these sort of
Uh-huh.
things we can just write it down into the MS project, and then we have to find out how much cost of the product, the resource, same time, and how much time it will take, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we have just already discussed so many things about this particular schedule. So this is plan schedule management, the process establishing policies, procedures, and documentation of planning, developing,
Uh-huh.
managing, executing, and controlling the project schedule. Okay, so we required some document at the same time. Yes, we understand the things is what is happening actually, but we required some procedures, we required some documentations, we required some planning part. We have who's going to execute the things, who's going to managing the things, who's going to doing the things. So this is sort of
Uh-huh.
documentation is always required in the project management. And define activities, the process of identifying and documenting the specific actions to be performed to produce the project deliverables, right? So whatever I'm just talking to you of each of the particular subject, okay, on this particular schedule management activities, sequence activities. So we required some documentation same time, each and everything, right?
Uh-huh.
The skill sequence activities, the process of identifying and documenting relationships among the project activities, and estimate activity, the sources, the process of estimating the type of quantities of materials, human resources, equipment, and suppliers required to perform each activity, and estimate
Mhm.
activity durations, the process of estimating the number of work periods needed to complete individuals' activities with estimated resources, and develop the schedule and control the schedule. So these are the
Mhm.
seven pillars of scheduling any project. So this is, you will get a project that yes, we have number of 10 resources. So what I'm going to do as a process of the project management to schedule the resources, align the resources, how to develop the schedule, how what they're doing the activities, okay, and how do I
Mhm.
measure the performance of the user. So this sort of things you can just do it. So what are the steps when defining project schedule? So defining activities, we already suggest that suppose you have 20 or 30 people in your team, and then you can just what defining the activities, what they're going to do it, okay. And
Mhm.
the second thing, sequence activities, okay. So first of all, the figure out which activities need to become before others, and then put them in the right orders. The main output here is to retrodiagram a picture how activities are related. Okay, suppose you're going to architect a building, right? So first of
Mhm.
all, you required the how the architecture part of the building, right? Or
Mhm.
network or sort of thing. So you can just how to create a building. So you can the other team is required diagram of the building, okay. Then they will just gonna start the proceedings led. And then
Mhm.
the third one would be estimate activity resources. So first you estimate the resources you will need to do the job and create a list of them, okay. So whose resources are going to do which things, right? So these things you need to be mentioned on a particular one, any day anywhere, and then you can just going to provide the resources alignment on the work. And then
Mhm.
the estimate activity duration, so how much time it will gonna take to doing the activity. So this is the four steps just gonna you can do it for the things. And then the develop the schedule, okay, and then control the schedule same time. So keeping track of issues, if things happen, if things are not happen, how do we control, how can we schedule the things if these things are not as with expectations. So things need to be changes over there. So this is about the control schedule is this there. So if you just look into the diagram, in the picture we have some MS Visio, what diagrams are there. So we just gonna create it into the MS project. Okay, so you will get better
Mhm.
ideas how it's gonna create all those things. So different techniques of determining activity durations. Okay, so expert judgment and parametric estimating, analogous estimating, and 3-point estimates. So these are some duration of activities, how much time what taking to do the things, and how much not time to do the things. So generally, as a
Mhm.
project manager, if you have already done those tasks, right? You know
Mhm.
that time how much time it will take. And if you are
Mhm.
working for the first time, okay, then uh, you can calculate the time that how it takes, okay. Generally,
Mhm.
uh, different activities have different timings happen. So uh, you need to make sure that uh, uh, what are the SLAs, okay, the service level agreements, and what are the escalation metrics, sort of things.
Mhm.
So as per your SLA, okay, service level agreement, okay, so and what type of ticket it is, and need to provide the resources to be going to
Mhm.
resolve the issues as per the SLA, right? So these are tier one, tier two, tier three, okay. Suppose
Mhm.
is there any big issues in the network side, okay, in your company or where. So there is the priority one issues, okay, because no one can work same time. So it is depend on the what type of issues of the network side. Suppose your device is gonna crash or anything will be happen, so there maybe takes time of more than 3 hours. So this is the time calculations you can gonna go for it, okay. And
Mhm.
sometimes the number of suppliers, okay, they will wanna supply some services like internet service provider, okay. It's just gonna provide you the internet services sometimes. And suppose the internet is gonna down for the 2 or 3 hours, so they have some SLAs there, right? So
Mhm.
different companies have different sort of things. So as per the requirement analysis, you can do it in the company, and so you can manage it over there. There is no need
Mhm.
to what to go for some what more descriptive things. But the thing is important there is that then how to start activities, defining tasks there, and these is the things which I'm talking about is control the schedule and the develop
Mhm.
the schedule. This sort of things gonna create before going to start. And once things
Uh-huh.
are proceedings, then it's very easier to what are doing the things as the project manager.
Mhm.
Okay, so computing activity duration with 3 point estimate. So they have some different calculations to doing the thing. So you can just gonna read it. How much time it will take to doing a thing. So most of the time,
Mhm.
because if you are working in the automobile sort of engineering companies or manufacturing or IT projects, you easily count how much time it will take. Okay,
Mhm.
because you cannot say that the things can be done in the 10 minutes and your resource is not able to perform the things on the 10 minutes. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is a requirement. What the number your board of directors, each and everybody what involved in the meeting, and then they will what create how much time it will going to resolve the problem. So
Mhm.
it's not your decision making sort of things, but all team members, everyone is there sort of.
Yeah.
So let's try identifying the techniques used. So different techniques used, okay, because what in the Japanese market, right? If you're going there, so they have quality management. So quality management, how the quality will be coming. If the people are very well qualified, then the quality will be coming same time, right? So as the quality is coming to the from the people, so how much time they will take, okay, to provide the
Mhm.
quality product same time. Okay, so that sort of things with different tools and techniques gonna use it for things. So it doesn't bother about it too much go inside as particular things, but the basic
Okay.
fundamentals should be clear.
Okay.
Okay, so the project cost is one of the what's very important terms we can gonna use it. So watching the bottom line. Okay,
Mhm.
so once we're going for the project, right, costing. Okay, so plan
Mhm.
cost management. Okay, so the first thing I will let you know then that the costing is yes, you are doing it actually, but the matter of fact that the approval authority, right, the finance
Mhm.
head or for the finance authority or investors, or we can say you can say the board of directors, they will what approving the things. Okay, so
Mhm.
we cannot go that we cannot say that we have to plan for our expectations all the time, because suppose you are just what creating a very good project for the
Mhm.
automobiles, right? And if it is not going to approve from the top management, then there is no use of it. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
approving authority is required same time, and you are the project manager. The decision making will be done by the investors, stakeholders. So we required some of the what documentations part. We required some procedures how to doing the things. Okay, and we require some policies. Okay, that's for the planning part and managing part, expanding and controlling how to project cost. We can be what once you are in the project management things, so you're working. Okay, so how do you what reduce the cost of the project? This is the what one of the things will be count as a good project manager versus the bad project manager same time. Okay, so the cost, what controlling the cost, saving the cost from the product, and what is the best for the business. Okay, so that sort of things in your mind that how can I be reduce the cost of the company, and how can we what go for some innovative ideas, and we have you don't have to invest too much money, that sort of things, right?
Uh-huh.
Then the second point of the estimate cost. Okay, so the process of developing an approximation of the monetary resources needs to complete project activities, right? So
Mhm.
estimating the costing is very important for you, because as a good project manager, you need to be what estimate how much cost will be involved in the particular one process. Okay, so this is all
Mhm.
about, because if you are if you have good exposure of 10 to 15 years as a project manager, right? So
Mhm.
you can easily understand, yes, these things happen. So the sort of things we need to go for, and that will take it how much of what cost is involved there. But if you are the new to the project managers, and then you need to work very hard and understand each and everything. Yeah, this cost happened.
Mm-hmm.
What is the warranty of this product? How can we cost maintenance cost in the future, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is not important for to getting the product once a time, cheaper product same time, but the maintenance cost is very high later on. Okay, so the cost is
Mm-hmm.
very high into the in the future, 2 3 years, 5 years, whatever the life of the product. So the
Yeah.
matter of things is basically to estimate cost once, and then also you just go for some maintenance cost estimations are up same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then the determining budget, the process of aggregating the estimated cost of individual activities or work packages to establish an unauthorized authorized cost baseline. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
who's going to approving the budget? Okay, who determine the budget is there? Okay, so this is
Mm-hmm.
not your basically. We can say you can provide your guide advices. Okay, you can provide suggestions. If
Yeah.
we gonna plan A, the budget is 5 million, and if we're going for a plan B, we will gonna invest
Mm-hmm.
for 5.5 billion same time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
always be the costing is what very critical in any project. So we not aware that what we're gonna do it, because you as the project manager you have different activities there. Okay, so
Yeah.
most of the times is you're going to not anything but going for the costing same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
right, because the technologies are going to changes all the time there, right? uh,
Yeah.
as you're aware that the AWS and Amazon and Amazon Web Cloud and the Azure, Microsoft Azure, the cloud, okay, comes
Mm-hmm.
is there, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So what, we have to estimate the cost, how much subscriptions, how much licensing cost of the product, what is the license cost of the Windows, everything we need to be count first of all. So the
Yeah.
costing determinations is one of the critical task, and you need to be approving is another very tricky task in front of you. Okay.
Yeah.
So these things you need to be taking care of it all the time, because your management, not going to invest too much things, and you have required most of the products. So it's better for your resources same time. So the resources versus top management, you are the key holders in middle of
Mm-hmm.
that both of them. So the decision making is very important. Then I will also suggest you that control cost is the process of monitoring the states of the project to update the project cost and managing changes to the cost baseline. Okay, so how do you
Mm-hmm.
control the cost same time, right? Suppose the costing is all going 50,000 or 60,000 of dollars same time. So how do you reduce the cost? It's one of the your main headache or main pain areas with you all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to do different tasks, different activities, or go for some innovative ideas, find out some nuances, find out new things, so you can reduce the cost same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so inputs needed when creating the project budget. So we required some activity cost estimates. We required some basis of estimates. We require some contracts. We require some resource contracts. We require some project schedule. We require some scope baseline. So these are
Mm-hmm.
the operation process assets and determine budget. So once you're going for the budgets, we require some activities, contracts, project schedule, resources, calendars. Okay, and we require some organization
Mm-hmm.
process assets, activity cost estimates. So the everything is count there, and then if you have good project management managers, you just write down each and every point, and then you can estimate the cost. Okay, so sometimes it is going higher, sometimes lower. Then you need to decide which one you're going for it. So
Mm-hmm.
accuracy of budget forecast throughout the life cycles is very important, because if you are not forecasting the right approach of your budget, or your costing will be very high there,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you suggest that we can just gonna purchase a laptop, right, from the shops,
Mm-hmm.
but you not determine the license of the particular operating system,
Yeah.
right? So this is the additional cost of the product. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
in many circumstances coming in front of you, there's you don't know actually what is the cost is all about, but you need to be uh, going for extra cost same time. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
management, what they will ask to you that if you are a good project managers, you know that you have worked so many years and you don't know how to calculate the what sort of costing these things in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very critical things of any project managers, because we have handled more than 200 or 300 projects till now, different projects, and the costing is one of the things that is no one can help you out same time, right? So
Uh-huh.
if you have worked previously in your projects, you can learn from the experiences, then you can just gonna go with the best things. Okay, and second thing will be the risk is there. So if the risk is there, so that you have plan A, plan B, so that the costing will be high same time.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are happen in any project, right? So rough order and conceptual, prelim, definitive, control. There's some variances is always be there. So it's just one of the the most of the projects are failed just because of not estimate the right cost. If the costing is very high of the project, and the approval authority is what ask you at the same time, we are on in the right track or not right on the right track. If we are not on the right track, and if it is not value for money, so we have to left the project as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So steps when creating a project budget. So we have some different activities. We have some work packages, right? And we have some control accounts. We have different
Mm-hmm.
projects, and we have some contingency reserves. We have quite cost baseline and management reserves and cost budgets. So we each and every phase we required how much cost will be there. Okay, so this is
Mm-hmm.
about the cost management data. Steps when computing the project cost, so project budget, how much budget we have taken, then management reserves and cost baseline, the control counts and contingency reserves and packages. So 20% higher, 20% lower. This is the what the management sort of language is there. If this cost is more than 20%, then it is manageable for the project management, right? And if it
Mm-hmm.
is more than 20%, then it's not manageable. So you don't need to do something different things. Okay, and
Yeah.
sometimes the cost is 20% lesser than we expected. So this is very good for the as a project manager. So these are the behavior of project cost is cost baseline, finding requirements, expenditures, management reserves, and project budgets, PSC. So these are some what things are available.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not behavior. So these are some studies basically. So what they exactly done it. So budget and
Okay.
competition. So this is some formulas so you can calculate. But most of the times once you're working on a project, you don't even remember your single formula same time, right?
Okay.
So the matter of fact
So
that
how important those formulas are?
yes, but they are very important because if you're talking about these formulas, if you are gonna working, okay, so you have
Mm-hmm.
to calculate the performance index, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
schedule performance index, so EV upon PV. So where is your behind ahead of schedule? Figure out the where you are
So
different.
as a project manager, am I expected to know all those formulas like on top of my head, or like the softwares will be able to help me?
The software is able to help you out. Not
Hmm.
worry about it.
Like like for example, like MS Project, they are, do they have like built in those kind of like formula in there or no?
We have different formulas for costing
Mm-hmm.
availability. Suppose I will ask you one thing that we Amazon Web Services or Azure Cloud, okay, we need to
Mm-hmm.
what type of servers we need to procure in our company, okay.
Yeah.
The required is we required some web servers, we required some file servers, we required some different servers use cases. So
Mm-hmm.
in the portal of Azure, on the portal of AWS, you will find out the formulas, everything is there,
Okay.
how much cost is
Okay.
there. Okay,
Okay.
so they have some different tools and techniques for cost management is there. So formula is
Okay.
basically you have to learn. Yeah, this is the things happen. Yeah, this is I have read it. Yeah, this is I have read it. So you have basic good understanding about the cost management once
Okay.
you're going for further into this. That's it.
Okay.
That's
So, but
all.
I don't have to like practice or like learn by heart all those formulas.
Not exactly just you need to understand the logic
You need
only.
to understand. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, planet value, what is planet value, what is unvalue is all about. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know that, because if you are learn all sort of things, but you not keep remember for too long. Yes, I know that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody's every.
No, I did class in cost management. Like, it was entire semester class on cost management, like in just in journaling the business management. And on that one, there were like few formulas, like you just need to know them, like the understand the like the meaning of it and what's the logic behind it. But we were not expected of actually memorizing the formula all the time, because usually, like, like softwares, Excel, like they take care of that thing. You just have to enter the values.
Yes, dear. In the modern times, you will find out there are multiple numbers of softwares
Mm-hmm.
in internet side. Okay, so
Yeah.
you will just calculate each and everything once you're in the project. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so how to in- interpret project cost performance. So this is if you are project on a track, that means that you are delivering the value you're promised. Okay, so this is the things is there, and if you can tell if your project is ahead of schedule or under budget by looking for the larger numbers, the CPI larger bigger than the under budget. If you tell them how much by looking at the CV, that's the so the matter of fact that sometimes you are your cost is under budget, sometimes you're over the
Mm-hmm.
budget. Your costing is there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Is there possible that you can be behind the schedule but still under the cost, or that is
what,
not a possibility?
what come again? Tell me again.
So, is there a possibility then if you might be behind the schedule time-wise but still be under budget, like
Yeah,
or
it
within
can
the budget?
possible. Yeah, it can be possible,
Okay.
because suppose if you are in the IT sort of projects, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you require some Python scripts, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Python, Java scripts, and PHP script sort of thing. So your work is done before the time,
Okay.
okay. So these things can be happen, because in the project management you cannot expect anything, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything can be happen in the project management, right? So it is
Okay.
depend on the situation, the circumstances, what type of circumstances. Sometimes your customer says that I don't require too much features into the product, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're ahead of time, same time.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes you know what, if you are, if you just check it out, for example, that the Nissan Motors, right, one of the automobiles companies, Nissan Motors,
Mm-hmm.
their cars is not so much safe. uh, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they have banking is very bad, but if you're talking about the costing of the cars is very less. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
taking a little time to sort of things for the resources to build up the cars or sort of things, and sometimes they are not working for the quality, the airbags
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So these things happen, right? So
Okay.
what type of your product is it is, and how the customer feedback, and what type of costing is there into the product, and that's it. Because if your project is very good in the market, then the minor quality issues will be, will be counting same times. But
Okay.
if your market conditions are not good, and if your product is not so much sales, so everything is count, everything is your waste of your time, or everything, whatever the cost would
Okay.
be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the costing is all about, so you can just read it. So another thing is we have project quality. So project quality is getting it right. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
required some quality product same time. So the first thing is basically if you are in the planning phase, so plan quality management. So what does it mean? The process of the identify quality requirements and or
Mm-hmm.
standards for the project and its deliverables, and and documenting how the project will demonstrate compliance with quality requirements, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have some standard set for how the quality product you're just going to provide to the market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, So we required some different tools like cause and effect diagrams and Gantt diagram and different things of quality management techniques we can use it. So what type of quality we can maintain it. So
Okay.
this is about, and whatever the things we will go further, we require some documentation of your quality, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
happened in modern time, because if your company is ISO 27000, okay, ISO 27000 is basically information security management system, it's compliance sort of thing, right? The
Mm-hmm.
information is secured of the company, right? So they
Yeah.
required all the what documentation each and every time. How can you say that your product is quality product? Do you have any documentations? What type of standards you are just going to use it? What type of
Mm-hmm.
benchmarking of your product? So these sort of documentations, same time requirement. Okay, and suppose your car, you're in the automobile, suppose project managers of safe your car. Okay, so that sort of quality testing, they are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and these are the some third party persons and third party companies are going, and they are going to auditing your company and your documentations or each and everything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they have to just justify them that these are the things happen, these are the standards, this is the process we are following it. That is all about information security is there.
Mm-hmm.
The second point would be perform quality assurance, the process of auditing the quality requirements and the result from the quality control measurements to ensure that appropriate quality standards and operational definitions are used. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we require some quality standards, right? So if you are going for the new project, right? So
Yeah.
we need to take care about what type of standards we need to meet. It's the first time, right? So there may be
Mm-hmm.
possible chances that you going for some wrong sort of commitment, wrong sort of things. But these are the things you is learning from your experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're part of the existing company, right? So they have already defined all the quality things. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
so everything in front of you, you have to just going to manage it. So you can manage it as per the standards, as per guidelines, as per the documents they have there, and then you can just go for the things. And the quality control, the process of monitoring and recording results of executing the quality activities to access performance and perform recommended necessary changes. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
quality control team is basically checking it out. They have the specific different departments of the company or quality management, right? Quality
Mm-hmm.
control team is there, so they will verify it. What is the things are you have produced, whether it is quality product or not quality product. If they are not met
Mm-hmm.
the quality standards, right? They will uh, uh, they will just products should not be allowed to produce further. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
but you're just talking about some Japanese markets, so very strict about the quality control standards they are following it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once we're going further, and then I will one day I will just show you the quality control sort of things later on.
Okay.
Different techniques they are using it here, because quality is a different, what is a big domain, we can say that, and we
Yeah.
cannot say that this thing is very quality things. And the example is basically Apple uh, mobile is what very quality product. That's why
Mm-hmm.
it is purchased by across the globe. So that's
Yeah.
the beauty about the Apple product, that they understand they what feedback from the customers. They understand the customer requirements. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that sort of things. Uh, 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 the requirement is there, and the quality testing team is uh, go for it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, steps spent defining the quality products. So that the quality management plan is the main tool for preventing defects on your projects. So if you have defects, okay, Six Sigma and Three Sigma, Five Sigma, there are different programs are running. You know what to quality product we have gathered. So
Mm-hmm.
schedule variance and defect density. So how much, suppose if you are producing the 1 millions of product, and how much deficiency you will accept as a project manager. So this is the things you need to be caring about. Yes, if it the
Mm-hmm.
in the out of 1 million, five products are wastage or and deficiency you just find out. So this is acceptable, but more than five product and to 1 million, it's not acceptable. So it's not a Six Sigma sort of product you're producing it. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
schedule, how do you schedule your products, and how the things are working. So that sort of things is there. Okay. So black box
Yeah.
3000 quality management plan is there. Okay, so this is very small things there in the slide basically. The metric is just the number of use the measure your product quality. So the matter of fact that the quality management team is the different team, okay, and they will always checking it out. Yeah, we have some quality things there. But as a project
Mm-hmm.
managers, you need to understand: do we have quality things providing as per your resources? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you, because you're providing activities to your resource, and whether they are going for the quality in their work or not, this is the things you need to manage.
Mm-hmm.
It's most of the times there, because if you are in the manufacturing company, or if you're in a production sort of companies, then there are the different roles of responsibilities of your.
Mm-hmm.
Then you need to verify your product all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then we will go further. Then there is a human resources, getting the team together. So if human resource management basically is management is the process of identifying and documenting process rules, project rules,
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities, required skills, reporting relationships, and creating a staffing management plan. So human resource management basically, what they're doing it, they required the right people on the right time
Mm-hmm.
of your project. Suppose you are project managers and you ask to human resource management, I required five number of people in my team as uh, uh, a- as basically the PHP developers or some coders. We required some cloud computers, or we required some production persons, right?
So,
Assembly lines.
are we going to be doing like that WBS in this particular step? Like, when you're going to be like planning human resource?
No, not this is not a part of WBS. Is not a part of this human resource basically. WBS is
Okay.
applied anywhere. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because you know what, if you have it, suppose if you are a human resource management manager, right, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to be recruiting for your company 200 number of employees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not possible you to hire once single person 200 employees of different branches of your company. So
Mm-hmm.
required five to six HR persons same time,
Mm-hmm.
and they will
So
reporting
how
to.
do so where WBS basically like where do we use it in the planning of the project, or that when the execution is being done?
Planning basically planning.
Mm-hmm. So then
Planning is
it
a
is
part,
like
because we are
but
planning
then
the things.
planning human resource management is the part of the planning process.
Yes, all the which we are talking right now, it's a planning phase, dear. It's not
Okay.
executing things.
Okay.
The different things are, if you just look into the slide, you just find out
Mm-hmm.
in the executing process we have some different things we are doing going to do it.
Yeah.
And in the planning phase, we have done only one thing. In the planning part, we have to do for plan human resource management only. So in the planning phase, we require documentation most of the times, dear.
But now, like right now, this slide, we are doing like the human resources, but then like, acquired project team and develop project team, that is a part of the execution process, not the planning process.
Yes, you're right. So what happened in this, basically different activities are different knowledge areas.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
most of the if you're just talking about the planning process group, so in the
Mm-hmm.
planning process group, we have documentations all about. We are planning it only,
So
right? We
that
don't
was
have
the
we
my
don't have
that was
resource
the my
availability.
yeah, but that was exactly what my question was, that the plan, like in the planning process group, when we are talking about plan human resource management, WBS should be part of it.
Yes, yeah, in the planning part, WBS,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so because
Mm-hmm.
what why we the WBS required here, because we have number of activities need to perform.
Mm-hmm.
It's another matter who's going to perform, but we have number of things. Suppose
Okay.
the human resource management have different tasks, recruiting,
Mm-hmm.
and we can say that terminations, onboarding, offboarding, and payroll. Okay, different
Mm-hmm.
things are they are doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
and the single person cannot do anything. Okay, so we
Mm-hmm.
require teams, and we require some teams, and we have to different tasks available, and then we can want to provide the task to different people same times. So
Uh-huh.
we have some big project or 200 number of employees need to be higher, and then we have WBS, we have done it into the planning phase, and we have providing tasks to them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So acquire project team. So the process of controlling human resources availability and obtaining the team necessary to
Mm-hmm.
complete the project activities. So this is another activities. Okay. Once you have done the WBS in the planning phase, and then you need to provide the different tasks to different teams. So acquire
Mm-hmm.
team have different team, development team, develop project team is different team, and manage project team is different team. So
Okay.
that is the project management is all about.
Okay.
Okay. So a develop project team is the process of improving competencies, team member interaction, and overall team environment to enhance project performance. And manage project team, the process of tracking team members' performance, providing feedback, and resolving issues, and managing changes to optimize project performance. So this
Mm-hmm.
is all about what the four things which you have studied is basically used for human resource management, right? So development, management, acquiring, those sort of things needs to be done in the execution things, and then the planning phase is always be documentations. So you can easily say that can say that, yeah, whatever the documentations, project charters, blueprints, SOPs, processes, these are the part of planning phase, dear. We don't need to do
Mm-hmm.
anything, do not activities, not execution requirement. But once we're
Mm-hmm.
going for the executing things, yes, who's going to do it, when to do it,
Mm-hmm.
how to do it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so these things are comes to your mind all the time. So these
Yeah.
things answers you will find out in the WBS of planning phase, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
create activities for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, steps when from forming the project team. So we have different teams available, right? Activity source requirement, enterprise factors, and organization project assets. So different organizations have different things like if you're working in a company where what a small size company, this medium size company, enterprise level companies. Okay, so they have different bands, different levels, different what positions they need to apply. So these things are you will find out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So organization charts you can create. Okay, so once we are in the practical sort of thing, so I will let you know that how to execution, how the functional charts gonna create, and what are the use cases, all sort of
Okay.
things. So tips when forming the project team. So this is there. Wait a second. Hmm? Wait a second here. Wait a second. Okay. Okay, I will check it out. Hello.
Yes.
Uh, okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is the some what charters available right now. So what we
Okay.
did tips when forming the business team. So this is the what CEO and the Brian Mike, and then the you're reporting to CEO, and the different teams
Mm-hmm.
is there. Okay, and
Okay.
what are the those responsibilities? So you just uh, write down the roles of the persons, and then what are the name of resources, and what are the people is there, and what they're doing, which
Mm-hmm.
things they're going to do it, and which responsible, which accountable, which consulted, and which informed.
Okay.
So these are things will be used. So just write it down there. Okay, tips when assessing roles and responsibilities. So these are some what activities is what they're going to do it, and who's going to do
Mm-hmm.
it. This is the person's name, and these are the what things they will going to perform it. Who's accountable, who's responsible, who is concerned, who is informed. So
Uh-huh.
these things are you will find out.
Okay.
Steps when formatting the project team. So we have different staffing management plan, and we can just gonna create what type of person required, who's recognized and rewards, and the lease criteria. So onboarding process, offboarding process, and rewarding and recognize and release criteria, training needs. So these sort of things you need to be take care, because if you are a project manager of human resource management, right? So you need to be aware about all the processes which are going on with the HR
Mm-hmm.
things, what they're doing actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are just going to till now we have did it uh, this project, so we'll go further later on with uh, wait a second. So we are continuing tomorrow,
Okay.
okay, Thursday, Tuesday, I think, same time
Tuesday.
there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we continue with this slide. So which of the page number is this? I would like to
I think that was 64.
64. Okay, so we'll go further with the 64 things, and
Okay.
whatever you have questions, doubts, you can just gonna ping me out on the WhatsApp, and then we can gonna further.
Yeah, sounds good. So are we done for all done for today?
Yes, yes, we are
Okay.
going to do it today.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
okay, thank you for your time,
Okay then.
Zara. Okay,
Okay.
take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mahesh. Okay. Bye.